Okay, today we are talking about Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem is a relationship between the sides of a right triangle. Okay, right triangles have a 90-degree angle. Okay, and on this triangle, we can call the different sides by different names. So the two sides that are attached to the 90-degree angle are called legs. Okay, and the side that is across from the 90-degree angle is called the hypotenuse. Okay, the legs are the two short sides, the hypotenuse is the longest side. Okay, and again, it's directly across from the 90-degree angle. Okay, now the relationship between these is that the square of the two legs will add up to equal the square of the hypotenuse. Okay, so in order to write this, we call each of the legs one A and we call one of them B. And the hypotenuse, we use C to represent that. And we use the formula A squared, which means one of my legs squared plus my second leg squared equals my hypotenuse squared. Okay, so Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, now what this is going to look like is if I have a triangle whose legs are 3 and 4, okay, and I draw a square here on either side to represent this, okay, the area of that square is 3 squared, right? Or 9. Okay, so this is 9. And then 4 squared, I would have 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this would have 16. Okay, that means the square of this side, 9 plus 16 is 25. All right, well, that means this side, this hypotenuse here, would be 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, so we can use that to figure out missing side lengths. Okay, now let's take a look at this in some situations here. This first one, a wrecking ball is suspended on a chain from a crane. The chain is 25 feet long, okay, and the distance from the bottom of the wrecking ball to the crane is 8 feet. And you can see the diagram here for you. What is the length of the crane? So we are looking for C. So we are given A, which is 8. 8 squared plus 25 squared is going to equal that hypotenuse or the length of the crane squared. Okay, 8 squared is 64. 25 squared is 625 equals C squared. Okay, 64 plus 625 is 689. And then and that's going to equal C squared. All right. Now, in order to do the opposite of squaring something, we are going to square root it. Okay. So the square root of C squared is just C. Okay. Because those things cancel each other out. So the square root of 689 is approximately 26.24, okay? And this says round to the nearest tenth, so that 4 is going to tell this 2 to stay the same. So it's approximately 26.2 feet long, okay? So essentially, when we are using Pythagorean theorem to solve, we are just substituting the values that they give us to solve for the missing side. Okay, let's do one more example here. So I have a leg here, which is 5. So 5 squared plus my other leg, which is 20 squared. And my problem says a ladder is resting on a tree. The height from the bottom of the tree to the top of the ladder is 20 feet. Okay, and you can see how the ladder is leaning up against the wall to know where that height stops. Then the base of the ladder, okay, the bottom is 5 away from the tree. So that's along the ground. Okay. And again, we substitute that in. We are solving for c squared because we don't know the length of the ladder yet. Okay, so 5 squared is 25 plus 20 squared is 400 is c squared. So I am going to find the square, 425 equals c squared. Now I'm going to find the square root of 425. And that gives me approximately 20.615. And because it says round to the nearest tenth, I'm going to do 20.6 is approximately C. So it is approximately 20.6 feet. All right, there's 2 more for you to try on your own, like that. Okay, here's one more that is similar. We have what is the distance between the top of the screen that is 10 inches high and the end of the keyboard section that is 10 inches long? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So I have 10 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. Okay, I have 100 plus 100 equals c squared. So 200 equals c squared. And I'm taking the square root of both sides. All right, and so my answer is the square root of 200 is equal to c, and the square root of 200 is approximately 14.1, okay, is c. Okay, you can try number 8 there as well. All right, number 9. This one, it says the diagonal of the phone screen is 7 inches. The width of the screen is 3 inches. So this time they're giving us the value for C, and we're finding the height. Okay, now remember, A and B are the legs, and C is the hypotenuse. So it's important that we use our A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and we substitute these numbers into the correct place. Okay, so a squared can be 3. So we have 3 squared plus b squared equals, okay, 7 squared. Okay, so here 3 squared is 9 plus b squared equals 7 squared, which is 49. Okay, now in order to solve this problem, we're going to try and get b by itself. So we need to subtract 9 from both sides, and we get b squared equals 40. Okay, then we take the square root of both sides to figure out what just b is. So b equals approximately 6.3. And this actually says calculate to the nearest inch, so it's approximately 6 inches. Let's do another one like that together. So this one tells us the diagonal of the window is 4 feet. Okay, and the height of the window is 2 feet. Calculate the width of the window to the nearest tenth of a foot. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is going to be 2, so we have 2 squared plus B squared equals 4 squared. Okay, and 4 plus B squared equals 16. Okay, and again, solving for b, so I subtract 4 from both sides to get b squared alone. B squared equals 12, and I square root both sides. So b equals 3.5, approximately equal to 3.5. This little squiggly just means approximately equal to as opposed to exactly equal to. So b is exactly equal to the square root of 12. But because square root of 12 is an irrational number, that means that decimal would continue on forever and ever and never repeat and never stop. So b is approximately equal to 3.5. Okay, so when it asks you to round, we are giving the approximate. If it asks for the exact, it wants equals and it wants you to leave it in square root form because that's the only way to write the exact number. Okay, so there are two more for you to try on your own like that. And then we're going to come look at these types of problems. Now, these are doing Pythagorean theorem in three-dimensional figures, okay? These give you nice diagrams here so you can see we have this pyramid. X here is a leg and it's the height of the pyramid, okay? Then 8 here is the diagonal from the center of the pyramid to the corner. And then the hypotenuse is the length from the tippy top of the pyramid to one of the bottom corners. Okay, so the 90-degree angle is here on the inside, which means X and 8 are our legs, and 10 is the hypotenuse. So we are going to be solving for one of my legs. So I'm going to do a squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared because 10 is my hypotenuse. Okay, a squared equals 64, plus 64 equals 100. Subtract 64 from both sides in order to get a squared by itself. So a squared equals 36. Square root both sides, and a is equal to 6 because the square root of 36 is exactly 6. Okay, so it is exactly equal to 6. And then you can try number 14 on your own there. I'm going to come down and do number 15 here. A rectangular prism has a height of 5 centimeters. The diagonal of the base is 7 centimeters. Okay, what is the length of the diagonal of the prism? Round to the nearest. So you can see in this label, 7 goes all the way across the bottom, but your 90-degree angle we're looking at is right here, which means 5 and 7 are both legs. So I have 5 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 49 equals c squared. 25 plus 49 is 74 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of 74 is 8.6. It says round to the nearest tenth. So 8.6 is approximately equal to c. And again, c is exactly equal to the square root of 74. Okay, but they ask you to round, so we're using the approximately equals to. And you can try number 16 on your own.